Hello, it's Emma Jo here from Lavinia Stamps, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this rather lovely watercolour card tag. And it's got some lovely new mushrooms on this, the moss caps and the moss cap cluster. It's set in this lovely woodland mossy setting, and it says a quiet place. It's a lovely little atmospheric tag. Anyway, enough chat, let me show you how it's done. So, taking your size 9 stencil brush, we're just going to use some Elements Ink Sundance and create a sort of, how can I describe it? Yep, an apostrophe. Then line punch, and that's just going to go on this side of the apostrophe. So we're going to take an acrylic board, and we're going to go with the River Corner, which is this rather lovely stamp with lots of, perfect for corners, so it's got lots of twirling roots, it's got little bubbles that could be water, they could be stones. It's up to your imagination. So I'm just going to create, if you like, a frame with this. These corners are great because the temptation is to just think that they can only do a square, but they can make a frame for you on anything, like for example this tag. So I'm just going to pop this across the bottom left. Let me tell you what I inked it up in. Pinecone, Versafine Clair Pinecone. And we'll do the same across the top. And I've literally inked up that bottom bit of the stamp to join it with the top right hand corner that we've just done. So that creates this lovely shape, this hollowed out space. And I'm going to take some Elements Ink Truffle, and I've got a stencil brush size 7. I'm just going to colour in my roots basically. Now you can see that there's still a little bit of colour left on my brush, and I'm just going to create that sort of circular shape there. Can you see how it forces the perspective? We've got first layer here, another layer there, and then the centre, which is where we're aiming for. So I'm going to use the Moss Caps Cluster and Versafine Clair Sand Dune. So ink up your Moss Caps Cluster, and let's pop that in the centre. So it'll be backlit by all that beautiful yellow and lime green. So now I've got my mushrooms. It's from the lamps set, and they're rather lovely. So I'm going to ink those up again in Sand Dune and just add them in first and second generation around this bit here, because it's pretty rare, isn't it, to have mushrooms be on their own. And the next thing we're going to do is add some foliage. So this is from one of the foliage sets, and I'm inking it up in Shady Lane. Now again, Versafine Clair Shady Lane, and we're going to do a little bit of building up the background. So I'm inking it up and stamping it off. And just rotate your leaf so that it doesn't look the same every time. And there's something rather lovely about this leaf. Isn't that lovely, that swooping shape? You may be wondering what's going to happen up here. So we're going to use one of the new minis, Forest Leaves Mini, and we're going to use that in grass green. So it's again Versafine Clair, one of the new colours, and we're just going to add and there we go. We've got this lovely undergrowth appearing, haven't we? We've got a mini leaf creeper here, and I'm just popping that onto my block, and we're going to ink that up in Versafine Clair Shady Lane and start in second generation, because you can always build up to your first, can't you? And you might wonder, why is it going in front of that? Well, it's going in front of that because I want to create depth, and this is one way of doing it. Now what are we going to do with those mushrooms at the back? Let me show you. So I've got some Mondeluz watercolour pencils, and I'm going to start adding some green. And I love doing it this way because you get quite engrossed in the shading, and it starts to feel almost ethereal, like you're looking in on a secret world. And to try and tie those up with the mushrooms that we stamped from the lamp set, I'm going to carry on that theme of green, so it looks like they're all one and the same. So let's just make sure our mushrooms are all supplied with their own stalk. Okay, so that was my dark green. I'm now going to take a sort of reddy brown and follow the underline of the cap. And because we're using these watercolour pencils, it sort of puts them in the distance, doesn't it? These wonderful cluster of mushrooms. So already we can see that we're going into this secret world. Now I'm going to take my size 3 stencil brush and some Elements Ink dark denim, and we'll just go around . We're going to take one of the moss cap mushrooms, the tallest one. We're going to give it a bit of a wiggle on the stalk, and we're going to ink it up in Versafine Clair Nocturne. Okay, so this is the tallest one, right in front of the moss cap cluster. Okay, and then we're going to take the next size down and again apply a little bit of wiggle and ink it up in Versafine Clair Nocturne again. Next to, but not quite as tall as that mushroom. So we've got a lovely tea green, and the next one is sky blue. And I'm going to just start with the sky blue to colour in this mushroom. And add a little bit of the pea green, and just 2 colours makes it far more believable. Right, take your size 3 stencil brush and a little bit of dark denim, and let's plant these mushrooms. And what we do is just add a little bit of shading underneath these mushrooms. And I've given it a bit of a slope to sit on. I'm also going to colour in this corner. So with that lovely blue, which was the sky blue, I always think of this as the rain that's stored in the roots, and just colour in some water droplets, if you like, around the roots. And we'll do a little bit up above as well. There's a lovely symmetry or balance to having some of the blue up there as well. And now I'll go for a little bit of green up here. And already, because we've inked in brown, but it's Lavinia with a sort of old-fashioned grim fairy tales twist, and I rather love it. It's that antique-y illustration feel about it. It's beautiful. Honestly, stunning stamps, Tracy. The next thing we're going to do, my friends, is apply some Posca. So when you think of water, there's usually a bit where the light catches it, and so that it's a highlight, if you like. And that's all I'm doing, is just adding a little highlight or two. And we'll do a little bit up here. I do love this design. It's so intricate and interwoven. It is truly a magical kingdom. Okay, I'm going to add a couple of dots on this side of this mushroom and that one. And that again makes it pop towards the front. So with a little bit of Stickles, and this is Seafoam, I'm just going to add some dots coming down the leaf creepers. And I don't really want them to be that big, so try and get it to the point where you are literally just dotting tiny touches of glitter. Okay, so that's my green, and I can now put that to one side. So that was Seafoam, and this is a little touch of Cayman. I'm just going to put that and blot it on some of the water. Not too much of it, but just enough to add a little bit of bling. And this is the Stickles that I think really brings it to life. Rose gold. I am literally just swiping it along the lines of these roots or brambles, and I love the effect that this gives. Doesn't it look lovely? And then we are nearly there. I'm going to add the final bit of dark denim. I'm just going in the right hand corner with a size 3 stencil brush, avoiding any of the glitter that I might have put there, and we're just going to try and darken this side a little. And now we're looking at these wonderful sentiment stickers, because we're going to be adding a quiet place just to this little bottom left hand corner. Here we go, a quiet place. Wonderful. And what I'm going to do is, using my scissors, take off the space at the beginning. It will make sense, promise you. And take off the space at the end, and then chop it into the 3 words. Please don't try and do it straight. So it's better off going the whole hog and saying, actually I meant it to be slightly wonky. A quiet place. And I'm just going to take a dark green pencil and just colour in the bottom of the stickers. So that, my friends, is a quiet place. A lovely little tag of these wonderful fairy tale mushrooms. I'm so glad you could come and join us today. Thank you very much for coming along. I hope you've had a wonderful time. And maybe see you again soon. But in the meantime, you have fun and take care. Bye.